Hi, I didn't see you there. Hi, hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I'm doing this. Let me see if I can improve the lighting for you guys. Okay, apologies in advance for bad lighting. It's because my window is there. Normally I film with the window facing this way, but there's not a wall for me to put this on that wall because of my bookshelf. So you're getting this. This is my pride and joy. I've been working on this for about 2 weeks, which is a lot for me for content. we don't normally go that ham. What am I talking about today? Today I'm talking about The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now, this is a young adult mystery book. Would I say thriller? Not really. Is there murder? Maybe. Mostly rich people drama. It's mostly rich people drama, and I am going to take you through the first book in the series. Now, there are currently 3 books in the series, and I believe a 4th one is coming out. I saw that today when I was looking on Amazon, not to buy books or anything, but when I was looking on Amazon at new releases. The Hawthorne Brothers is coming out next August, so this series may not even get completed in the next 3 videos that I have for it. My plan for this video series at the moment is to walk you through the plot of the first book, second book, and third book as I finish them. I have finished this a few days ago and thus started my murder wall. Now, a murder wall is essentially how you plot out or trace things back to important plot points, or say you're trying to solve a mystery, then you link things back to a specific plot point. Now you're probably wondering, Andy, there's a lot of things and nothing seems to be leading back to one specific plot point. That would be correct. But our 2 main plot points, pieces of information here, are going to be Avery and Tobias. Now, I'm going to do my best to zoom you guys in a little bit and not necessarily cut myself off too badly, but this is a little bit tricky of a filming situation, so I'm going to get right into it. I want to go ahead and warn you for spoilers for the Inheritance Games, but the biggest spoilers for this are not put up yet. I did not do those strings, so there's that. I also want to clarify what the string colors mean. So you should be able to tell that there is this lighter green color here. That is going to be the base relationships that already exist at the beginning of the book. So we already understand that this is the dynamic of things going on kind of within the first 25% of the book. Nothing too major has been revealed except for some of these relationships. Now, the darker green color is things that happen as we go on, right? As we move along through the course of this story. I am going to go get my note cards and we're going to get you guys zoomed in a little bit and get started. So we do have some of our characters lined up in different sections here. So here we have family being the Hawthorne family. Then we have the Graham's connections here, and then we have employees. And you would think that employees wouldn't need their own section, but they do actually in this case. So in the Inheritance Games, we open up with Avery Grahams. Avery Grahams lives with her half-sister Libby. They both have the same father, Ricky. Ricky doesn't play a huge role in this book, so don't worry about him too much right now. Just know that he's the connection between Libby and Avery. That is their connection. That is why Libby basically plays pseudo-mother to Avery while only being in her 20s. Avery's mom is dead, so we'll just leave that there. You can keep that in your head. She doesn't have a spot on the wall yet because it doesn't matter yet. But just keep that in the back of your mind, right? Just keep that. Avery finds out basically at the approach of Grayson, a Hawthorne boy, who is about 19, I would assume. We don't have their ages at the moment, so 19-ish is my guess. Anyway, he comes to Avery's school where she is a junior and is basically like, hey, we need you because we can't read my grandfather's will without you. What? His grandfather would be Tobias Hawthorne. Tobias Hawthorne is kind of the mastermind behind the entire series and the entire will and the entire puzzle of the Hawthorne legacy. Now, why? That's the question of this book. Do we get the answer? Not really. Not really. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that you probably don't get the answer. Okay? So, are you following Avery? Tobias. Avery met him one time when she was 6. She doesn't have a lot of memory of that, but they met one time when she was 6. So she doesn't know why she has become this important piece. When she goes to hear the will, it turns out that he left his entire estate and almost all of his money to Avery. Not, you know, Toby, he's dead. His son Toby, dead. Not Zara, his daughter, his oldest daughter. She has no children. So not to Zara, not to Zara's husband, not to Sky, who is the mother of our 4 Hawthorne boys, who are very important pieces. Doesn't leave it to any of these people. Doesn't leave it to the boys, even. He leaves a house to the Laughlins, Andrew and Lottie, and he leaves a toolbox to John. I believe some money to those people. Let's take a look here. Andrew and Lottie Laughlin got $100,000 in the house. John Oren, who is the head of security, was given $300,000 and the toolbox, but also was told that he has to now be Avery's head of security. We've got Alyssa, who was basically put in charge of the trust for Avery and then also the boys, because the boys were given $250,000 in the will. Zara and Sky were only given their debts paid off, and Sky was given a compass and Zara was given her father's ring, with very important messages attached to them. Do those messages matter in this book? No. We'll talk about them next episode. Alright, let's keep going. Right now, what we're trying to find out, what the paparazzi's trying to find out, what everybody's trying to find out, is why did Tobias pick Avery? So they do a DNA test, and it turns out that Avery definitely not. It's not. They're not. Not a secret child, not a secret grandchild, nothing like that. This whole time, she is trying to solve puzzles, because this is her thing. She does puzzles, but so do all of these boys. Not so much Nash. Nash is not very important right now, but so do these boys. And she's got this weird dynamic with Grayson and Jameson, the middle of the 4. Nash is our oldest, Jameson and Grayson, and then Xander. Xander's a sweet, sweet, sweet cinnamon roll who's smarter than all of us, but very sweet about it. Grayson, stoic. He has an attachment style problem. Jameson has a drinking problem and needs therapy. But who doesn't, you know? Anyway, Jameson and Avery have more of the most explosive relationship in this dynamic, and that is probably because Jameson is the one most focused on playing these games and solving these mysteries. What are the mysteries? Well, as things come about, it turns out that first, when looking at the letters that Tobias left for the boys and for Avery, Tobias signed his with a middle name, with a middle initial. So Tobias Tattersall Hawthorne, TTH. And it just said, I'm sorry. Jameson's letter, which is actually the same letter that all of the boys got, was something else that I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But it was signed Tobias Tattersall Hawthorne. Xander later reveals that Tobias did not have a middle name when he was born. He just changed his name later on. So when Avery starts digging into this, she discovers that Tobias changed his name 20 years ago. What happened 20 years ago? So 20 years ago, he wrote one previous iteration of his will. The current iteration of the will was changed a year ago, and the oldest version was written 20 years ago, August of 20 years ago. And also that was when he added his new middle name, Tattersall, which tatters space all, like 2 different words. He tatters all, like the entire Hawthorne family. He destroys them. He leaves them all in tatters. What is it? What is the play here? We don't know. So, as things carry on, we find some strange connections with Thea mentions that a girl died in Hawthorne House. Who's Thea, are you wondering? Thea is Zara's sort of niece. It's more like Zara's husband's niece, Constantine, but she also basically grew up at the Hawthorne House like the Laughlin's granddaughters did. Who are they? You haven't mentioned them yet, Andy. You're right. That would have been Emily and Rebecca. Thea mentions that a girl died in the Hawthorne house. It turns out that that was Emily Laughlin. Emily Laughlin died, and how she died is up to kind of debate, even still up to kind of debate. But the story behind that turns out that Emily was playing games with Grayson and Jameson. And in playing those games, she decided to date both of them. They agreed to play along with this game, right? Xander dates Thea because Emily tells him to. Weird triangle here. Trust me, it'll all come together. Give me a minute. Tells him to. Jameson, not into this. hates this, doesn't want to be a part of this anymore, breaks up with Emily. Grayson goes with Emily up to these cliffs. Up to these cliffs. He turns around to go get towels. Emily jumps off this cliff. It is for cliff diving, so it's not like she was killing herself, right? Emily has a heart condition. The adrenaline kills her. She's dead by the time she washes up on shore. She's been dead. She's dead. Both of the boys blame themselves because, again, they need therapy. And the reason that happened, this is like a subplot. This isn't even about Avery, right? You're thinking, what is this? We'll get there. The reason that all happened, all of it happened, was Rebecca was secretly seeing Thea. And Emily found out and was pissed, livid, angry. Rebecca decided, fuck you, and showed Jameson all of the texts that Emily had sent Rebecca about the game that she was playing with Jameson and Grayson. Now, Jameson and Grayson knew that they were both dating Emily, but they didn't know quite to the extent that they were being played. And because of that, Jameson broke up with Emily. So Rebecca blames herself for Emily's death. And this whole time, Emily's just a psycho bitch. Like, she's actually just a horrible person, realistically. Sorry, I don't care that you were chronically ill, bestie, me too. That doesn't give you a right to be a bitch. You're probably wondering, Andy, I'm still not sure how this all lines up with this. That's fair. I respect that. Now, this whole time, Avery and Jameson and Grayson and Xander are trying to follow this thread, this clear game, not so clear, but this clear game that Tobias has left behind for them to solve. And it all leads down to these very specific clues. The specific clues have to do with the boys' middle names. Now, a key point here about the boys is that none of them know who their fathers are, and they don't really know a lot about their birth stories. It turns out that Skye did not actually pick any of their middle names. Now, Nash is not involved in this. It only has to do with the three boys. And the three middle names actually turn out to be specific locations on the map of the Hawthorne estate. Those specific locations have specific numbers. That specific number then is revealed to be some kind of date. 10/18, October 18th. What was October 18th? Well, October 18th is Avery's birthday. So they think, okay, maybe there's this connection. Avery thinks, okay, I see this connection now. But the boys tell her, no, you're wrong, because that is also the date that Emily died. So the boys are thinking, this was a lesson that our grandfather had to teach us, a terrible, horrible lesson. And Xander's like, no, you guys are very annoying. You guys are very annoying. So then Avery finds a secret tunnel. No, wait, I got ahead of myself. Rewind. So then, at one of the last locations, Avery gets shot. She's not dead. She gets shot. Jameson and Avery have a moment. Rebecca finds out, tells everybody about it. So then everybody knows that Jameson and Avery made out. And it was weird because Avery's like, not well. PTSD, right? Not good. She just got shot. And Jameson is like talking about this game after making out with Avery. And Avery is like, can we talk about something else? And Jameson is like, no, bye. And that's that dynamic, which is toxic. It's bad. It's not good. Everyone here needs therapy. Who shot Avery and why? So, we have to talk about the will. The will is not on the board, so we have to talk about the will. The will states essentially that Avery has to live on the grounds of the Hawthorne estate for a year. She can only leave the estate for 3 days out of every single month. Going to school doesn't count, whatever, 3 consecutive days out of every single month, or else she forfeits her earnings. Her earnings? I don't know. She forfeits what she gets. No one can challenge the will, or else they forfeit whatever they got from the will. And the only exception would be that if Avery were to die, it would go to her heirs. Who are her heirs? Libby, realistically, and that's it. But also, the foundation would then de facto go to the boys. The foundation is a nonprofit, but all nonprofits inherently do get profit of some amount, so they do get money from this nonprofit. They, diversify it and invest it in different things, but they also do get an income from it. That's just kind of what happens with nonprofits. So they would make money if Avery would die. In the end, the boys would still get something extra if Avery were to die. So who shot Avery? Well, they set up a trap. They being John Oren, head of security with the police. They set up a trap. And this trap is basically to show Avery out and about. She's doing things with Thea, and they get on the road, and someone tries to run her off the road. Who tries to run her off the road? Well, we didn't talk about Drake. Drake is a piece of shit. I don't know his last name. I didn't write it down. I just wrote sucks for the last name part. He sucks. He's a bad person and I hate him. He's abusive. He punched Libby in the face. Horrible man. He also shot Avery. But why? What does Drake get out of this? So you're probably wondering, did Libby and Drake actually break up? What's happening here? Did they break up? Yes, they did break up. So I'm going to go ahead and spoil that one for you. They did break up. They did break up. So why did Drake shoot Avery? And what did he think he was going to get out of it? And how did he get on the property? Because he'd been banned from the property. See, this whole time, the whole time that all of this is happening, Drake keeps talking to the paparazzi like a shithead. And Avery's lawyer, Alyssa, lawyer extraordinaire, she's great. She worked for Tobias for a little bit, but mostly her father worked for Tobias, and now she works for her father's firm. She also dated Nash. She and Nash are no longer together. They were engaged. They are no longer engaged. That was their dynamic. Alyssa is like, Libby tried to have you killed. And Avery's like, absolutely no, she didn't. Nash and Libby have something happening romantically over here. And Nash goes, no, she didn't. So if she didn't let Drake onto the property, who let Drake onto the property? Anyway, moving on and back to what we were talking about with them finding those numbers, it actually turns out that it wasn't a date. Nobody cared about the date. It actually was a code to find a different space. So they then find that space, they find the secret tunnel, and going into that secret tunnel, they need Avery. So Avery does facial recognition and she gets in. Great. And to get into the next layer of that vault, they need all of the boys. Now the boys have been fighting over this Emily thing because they are useless and need therapy. So they do finally get all of them into the tunnel and they get in. But as they're in, who do they see? Rebecca. What the fuck is Rebecca doing in the tunnel? Well, and this gets explained, but I don't really, this felt very, I still think you're suspicious, Rebecca. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. Rebecca regularly wanders the tunnels at night because that's normal. Part of it is to see Thea in secret because they're still secretly a thing. But part of it is also just because she's a fucking weirdo who needs therapy like everybody else in this fucking house. The Hawthorne house is just a huge maze of things, and so sometimes traveling through the tunnels makes the most sense. Rebecca owns the fact that she wanders the tunnels often. It causes Oren and everybody else to go, wait a minute, does one of these tunnels go out to outside of the property, and would somebody have let Drake in that way? Who let Drake into the tunnels? None other than Sky Hawthorne. I bet you were wondering what this like line from Sky to Drake was and like how suspicious that was. I would have been wondering. Anyway, Sky Hawthorne. She's the one who let Drake in. Why? Why? First off, Rebecca saw Sky putting them in, let Avery know, and Grayson overheard. Grayson makes a deal with Avery and says, listen, either you can tell everybody, you can tell the police or whatever, or you can let me take care of it, and I will make sure you are safe. What ends up happening is that Sky like goes away to a hotel and stays there, which, bad idea. I think that Grayson maybe should not have taken care of it, and we should have let, like, I'm not pro-cop, but sometimes rich people should get what's coming to them. Anyway, because Sky refuses to let anyone come between her sons having any kind of financial legacy. She wants them to be rich because she knows they'll take care of her, even though she never actually took care of them. Crazy, right? Mom's narcissism. Crazy. So, all of this to lead them to this tunnel. Once all the boys are downstairs, they are able to unlock the final door. They go in and there's this strange box, and it has Avery, Kylie Graham's name on it. And it turns out that ever since Avery was 6, this man saw her in a diner with her mother, heard her mother say her name out loud, and asked Avery to spell it. Avery spelled it, and he then turned it into an anagram, which then was used in this entire ordeal to bring all of the boys together in one place again after they had been so torn apart by one Emily Laughlin. That's crazy, right? So crazy. They each get a letter. Their letters say different things. I don't believe Avery got a letter. I don't remember what it said. But But Xander got a letter, and Xander's letter is different because it contains something that is in invisible ink, and it is heat activated, and only Xander can see it. And what does it say? Now, just recall, think back to the beginning when I was talking about the children of Tobias Hawthorne and how one of them is dead. Think about that. Think about it. Are you thinking about it? Good. It says find Toby. Well, how can you find Toby? He's dead. Allegedly. See, when Toby died in a big house fire, which we only get a little bit of information about, when Toby died in a big house fire, 3 bodies were found. 4 people were there. That 4th person was Toby. Where was his body? They never found it. Suspect. Now, there are 2 people I haven't talked about yet that are on this board. And that would be Maxine. She does not play a major role in this book other than being Avery's grounding source, BFF, from back home. She will play more of a role later on, but right now she gets one little square. She's not hugely important at the moment, but directly under her is Harry. Now in the very beginning, when Avery finds out that she has all of this money, the only thing that she wants to spend the money on, despite like being able to spend money on anything that she wants, the only thing that she wants to do is buy a house for this homeless man that she has been playing chess with every week, if not every morning, since her mother died. Those chess games consisted of a bet wherein if Avery won, she got to buy Harry breakfast, and if Harry won, she couldn't even offer. This had been going on for years. So, why do I bring this up now? Avery talks to Nan, Pearl O'Day. She's over here. She's not really that important at the moment, so that's why she's over here. She is the grandmother and Alice O'Day / Alice Hawthorne, Tobias's wife's mother. She's a locket. In that locket is a photo of Toby. Avery sees it for the first time and realizes that Toby, let's follow this thread here. Yep, we're just gonna carry it on up over here. It's not Maxine. Toby is Harry. This whole time. She also finds in the desk in the suite that she has been staying in that Tobias has been watching her whole life, and it turns out that he has been keeping track of her, has different records, has her birth certificate with the father's signature highlighted, which is a bit strange, and it causes Avery to think about the repeated... Are you ever mid-filming and then your camera dies and then you're in meetings for 4 hours, and so then you don't really get to finish your sit-down video even though you're literally about to do the closing out? Because I did. Anyway, as I was saying, I hope this is what I was saying. The birth certificate thing is suspicious. It's incredibly suspicious. So, that's it. That's where we leave off. We leave off with Find Toby, weird documentation, obvious proof that Tobias thinks that Toby is alive, and that Harry is Toby and has known Avery this whole time. So now we have questions, right? We have questions like why did Harry involve himself in that dynamic? 1. Why did he play chess with Avery all the time? Did Tobias know that Harry was playing chess with Toby was playing chess with Avery? Is that why he included Avery in the will? What happened a year ago, 1 year ago, to cause that, other than Emily dying? Because Emily dying, not a good enough reason. Not a good enough reason. Is Drake done? Are we done hearing from Drake? I'm pretty sure he went to jail. I don't remember, but are we done hearing from him? I hope so. I hope so. I hate him. Libby and Nash, what's happening there? Which boy is Avery gonna choose? None, I hope. Xander, is he actually sweet, or does he have malicious intentions? I don't know. I don't know. But we'll find out, hopefully, in the next book. I'm going to be honest with you, besties. I'm 75% into the next book, and all I have are more questions. But I will go over that one with you guys in the next video. So this has been my murder wall over the inheritance games. I believe that for my closure, I will just have you guys zoomed in on this and not have to look at me. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you did not enjoy this video, sorry. I've been dreaming of making this content for like a year though, so I'm really not going to apologize, and I am actually going to be making another one of these when I read the Hawthorne Legacy. I'm probably going to have to take those wings down to successfully do that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you didn't enjoy this video, bye. Have you read the Inheritance Games? Are you going to now? Do you have questions? More questions than I did. What do you think happened to Toby? How much bigger do you think my murder wall is going to get? Because I have concerns. That's it. I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, pretty much 90% of the time, and I will see you guys next week, obviously. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.